Builders. I'm going to be talking about strategies on how to end 2022 strong. So if that sounds like something interesting for you, like this, share this onto your feeds, and tag someone that you feel that this could benefit as well. We also are streaming this all onto our YouTube channel, so feel free to subscribe to that as well. And I have something exciting I'm going to announce today, and I can't wait to see who'd be willing to do this with me as well too. So starting off, I don't know if you feel this way or not, but the end of end of any year, especially when it gets a holiday season, and I hope you had a great Black Friday. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate that, I hope you had a great end of your November. It's crazy, right? We're like 40 days away until 2023. And especially being an entrepreneur, or if you're a leader, if you're in business for yourself, I feel this way. Let me know if you feel this way, but I feel like mixed feelings when it comes to the end of a year. Number one, I feel joy. I feel a lot of excitement spending time with family and friends, and who doesn't like celebrating the holidays and everything. But the flip side as well too, I also have a lot of anxiety, if I'm to be honest with you. I start to feel a little guilt, maybe some shame, some frustration, especially in relation to your goals, because as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you tend to set big goals. And unless you're perfect, you're probably like me where you're short on many of your goals. In fact, I'm the type that I love to set massive goals. And while I've progressed in many ways, to be quite honest with you, in many of my goals, I've fallen short quite a bit as well too. And progress is great, but at the same time, I didn't hit it just yet. And yes, we still have another month, but usually around this time, I start feeling a lot of frustration. I start feeling worried. I start feeling a lot of fear and doubt. Will it happen? What if it doesn't happen? My mind starts to go in weird places. Like I start to feel a lot of shame because I've told my goals to a lot of my friends, to a lot of my family. And when that starts to happen, I feel like if I fail, then how can I show face? What am I going to tell my family around the dinner table? What am I going to tell my friends if they check up on me, right? There's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of regret. There's a lot of fear on the end of the year that happens because while I've made good progress, and I'm sure you've made good progress as well too, I've hit some goals, but a lot of the big goals that I really, really wanted, if I'm to be honest, year after year, I'm still short of them, right? And I wonder if you feel that way about your goals as well. So I've made a decision, and I want to invite anybody here that feels the same way, but is looking for a way to be able to break through in your 2022 goals. I'm making a decision to do something different this year. They say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting change. So I'm going to do something different. And I'm going to go by it a completely different direction, a completely different angle. Now, I believe work ethic is important. I believe wisdom is important. I believe seeking for advice is important. I believe tuning things up is important. But for me, if I really want a big breakthrough, what I think is I go back to what are the things that people in history have done to have the most miraculous breakthroughs ever. And I don't know about you, I want the end of my year to be miraculous. I want it to be incredible. I want to go into the new year, guns blazing, running as fast as I can, feeling incredible. And I want you to have that as well too. Great to see you, Jamie. And as you're coming in, let me know where you're coming in from as well too. Would love to see you guys as well. Okay. So I'm making an interesting decision here. Now, it's going to be a faith-based direction, but I also want to put it out there as well too. Whether you consider yourself a person of faith or not a person of faith, I've done a campaign like this with people that are not of faith as well. I have much respect for anybody in all of your beliefs. I personally have a strong belief, being Christian myself, but I believe that if you want any type of breakthrough in your life, whether you're aware of it or not aware of it, you probably know there's some type of spiritual connection. I think we can all agree we're not just body, we're not just flesh, we're not just a mind, but there's something more to us. And what if there's some connection between the spiritual side of ourselves to our physical breakthroughs in our businesses, in our finances, in our lives, in our families, and all of that as well too? And I've wondered, is there such a connection? And I want to talk about something that I feel that I know will yield to a breakthrough because it's based off of historical type of stuff. All right. So just want to put that out there. But it is open for anybody. Once again, I've done other projects like this with people that are completely not of faith, still had amazing results because truth is truth. So where am I going to take this from? I'm taking it from the Bible itself. I consider that the source of truth, right? I can be wrong as much as I think that I can be right. I'm very, very wrong in many things. So I like to go to an objective truth. And I'm going to go over one passage here that is quite interesting. And there's a story in the Bible from the book of Joshua. If you don't know who Joshua is, Joshua, we probably all know who Moses is. Great to see you. You probably know who Moses is. Moses is, the guy that parted the Red Sea, that whole thing. Maybe you watched the movie or something, or maybe you understand the Bible story. But Joshua is Moses's predecessor. And what happened was Moses led this group called the Israelites, and they were supposed to make it to what's called the Promised Land. It's God's promised land to his people. And Moses didn't make it there, but he passed on the baton to Joshua to lead the Israelite army into the Promised Land. And Joshua did a lot of conquest. He was kind of like the warrior and everything. And in the book of Joshua, so a very interesting situation happened. And what was it? What happened was this, to give you context. There was a city called Jericho. In Jericho, imagine like those old school movies, medieval times or something. I think about Lord of the Rings, to be honest. And I think about a city that has a big old wall. It's like a fortress. It's like impenetrable. There's like a big army inside. The Israelites, they are outnumbered. It looks impossible. Maybe that's what your goal looks like right now in 2022. Maybe you feel like your goals are way out of reach. Maybe you feel like you've tried everything that you could and breakthroughs aren't happening. Maybe you've almost given up, or maybe you've already given up on your goals. That's exactly where the Israelites were and Joshua was when this situation in Joshua 6 happened. Let me share with you the passages here and give you this context straight from the Bible itself. All right. Very fascinating. God gave them a very interesting game plan. Hear this. So the Lord said to Joshua, this is Joshua 6:2. The Lord said to Joshua, see, I have given Jericho into your hand with its king and the valiant warriors. So God's literally saying, you have victory. Even though you're outnumbered, even though it seems impossible, you have victory. And here's the game plan. See how crazy this is. Okay. The game plan is not go charge in the middle of the night. The game plan is not go find some other armies and go confront Jericho. This was the game plan. Joshua 6:3, you shall march around the city, all the men of war circling the city once. You shall do so for 6 days. So they're literally just circling the city for 6 days. Can you imagine? And get this. Also, 7 priests shall carry 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. So literally they put the priests up front. Back in the day, what's called the Ark of the Covenant. It's where they said that God resided in, basically. So they're putting that out front. You're not putting your warriors out front. You're not putting your shields out front. You're literally putting your priests out front, the weakest ones, right? Then on the 7th day, you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow the trumpets. So they're literally walking around the city for 6 days, and they're like trumpeting and they're making noise. And on the 7th day, supposedly when they all shout and stuff, they're supposed to win. Think about this. I got to think about this, right? If you're somebody in Jericho and you're the enemy, can you imagine the scene? Can you imagine looking out and you see a small army that you're probably laughing at, and they're literally just walking around your city that's impenetrable, supposedly, for 6 days? How would you feel? What would you think? I'd be probably laughing at them, to be honest, right? So let me keep on going down here. Joshua 6. They're going to make a long blast, and the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city will fall flat down, and the people go up every man straight ahead. That's an interesting strategy. I don't know about you, but if I was Joshua, I don't know if I would trust that or not. That sounds way out of reach. Maybe, but to get some things done in your life, maybe it takes a different approach on things, right? So let me keep on going down. They basically follow suit with that. If you keep on going down Joshua 6, all right, they shouted and they carried it down all the way down here. They marched around for 6 days. And on the 7th day, they rose up early and they shouted and they declared that the Lord had given them the city. And guess what? What happened was this. You keep on going down here. It says, the people shouted, the priest blew the trumpets. When the people heard the sound of the trumpet, they shouted, and the wall fell flat down. They utterly destroyed everything in the city. So that is the passage there. So why do I bring this up? What you see in this passage is that there is power on the spiritual realm for the things that you feel that have been willed, that God has willed for your life. If it's God willed, nothing can stop it, right? If it's not God willed, then everything can stop it, right? But if your goal, if your dream, if your next direction is a God willed thing, then the number one defense, the number one offense, could it be that it's a spiritual approach? Could it be that prayer, worship, praise, could it be that having a closer connection with God could yield you the wisdom to actually overcome the challenges and the barriers for the rest of this year? And what you see in Joshua 6 is this interesting corollary that if you want to have a miracle in your life, if you want to have God's miracle in your life, in your business, in your finances, in the things that are going on, there is a way that God works that is completely counterintuitive to what most of us think. Because most of us have been taught, and while work ethic is important, obedience is important, most of us have been taught that if you want to get something done, do it yourself. If it were to be, it's up to me. We're taught that we're the captains of our fate, the master of our soul. But if you're a faith-based believer, if you're a faith-based entrepreneur, leader, influencer, or if you understand there's a spiritual realm at all, then we understand that the spirit is way stronger than our minds. The spirit is way stronger than our bodies. And if we can stand strong in our spiritual selves, then we're going to have way higher odds of ending the 2022 year strong. So I wonder what you think about that. So what are we going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? I'm just doing it myself, but I just want to welcome you guys if you want to join with me as well too, and make a public declaration, because I feel like this is what happened. I just ended a 3-day fast. I did a 3-day water fast, and I was just seeking the Lord. I was seeking his word. I was seeking, all right, what are the next directions and clarity? And it was incredible. I felt amazing through that. I did another video on that. But around a day after I was done with my fast, I started getting these ideas. I started getting this thing mapped into my mind. And I started getting the idea of, what if I'm supposed to commit 21 days to this next period, to prayer. Prayer is God's number one weapon, right? Because prayer is basically talking to God and asking him and seeking him. 21 days of study. Super important to study. If you want to develop faith, it says that faith comes from hearing the word and hearing the word of God. And then number 3 is also fasting. Fasting is basically killing your human self, killing your physical body, so that you can allow your spirit to dictate and actually direct you more. Now that fast for me, I feel that he's leading me to a total water fast for 21 days. That could change, I don't know. But I'm thinking a 21-day water fast, which if you look in the science is actually super healthy if you do it correctly and everything. And with that, my goal is to be able to seek the Lord, just like what Joshua did with the Israelites. And in the face of impossible, quote unquote, impossible goals, things that I want to get done in 2022, I want to bet on God over myself, basically. I want to see what's God's miracle for my life, because straight up, at this point, I look at some of my goals, I'm like, it just seems straight out impossible to me. But what's impossible with me is possible with God. And if I truly believe that to be the case, then why don't I put that as a number one direction? Why don't I put that as a number one priority? And I want to invite you as well too. So the next 21 days, starting November 28th, what my goal is to do is start this process. 21 days for a breakthrough of prayer, fasting, study. And I want to invite you with this as well too. I'm going to be doing a lot of content. I'm going to be doing daily lives of study. I'm going to be doing daily content that is going towards this direction. And I'd also love if anybody is interested in being a part of something like this. And anyone's welcome, whether you're a person of faith or not of faith. Anyone can be a part of this if you feel like you want, if this calls to you, if this resonates with you, if you feel like this pulls on you, and you can do a fast however that you want. Basically, it's a period of dedicated time. Maybe you don't need to do a 21-day water fast, but maybe you need to fast something, fast food. Maybe you need to do an intermittent fast. Maybe you're an all liquid fast. whatever, right? God has a certain way of doing things with you. So you follow that call right there. But if you're interested in joining a part with me on this, besides just watching my content, I'd love for you to be a part of this group. I have a Telegram group called Kingdom Builders, free Telegram group. And if you're a part of this, then I want to actually talk with you. I want to hear, what are your goals? What are the breakthroughs that you're seeking? Because I believe it's powerful when one person fasts, prays, and studies, but it's even more powerful when there's a collective as well too. And if that's something that interests you, comment breakthrough. Comment breakthrough. I love to reach out. Or you can check out the caption, and I have my Telegram group. It's called the Kingdom Builders Telegram group. It is out there. You can just join it. And every day I'm going to be a part of that. Every day I'm going to be praying, and I want to do this together with a group that wants to just run through 2022. Because I know that by myself, the goals that I have are probably totally impossible. But I'm willing to bet that if I do things God's way, if I allow the spiritual nature in me to be able to run my life rather than my way, because there's a saying in Proverbs that there's a way that seems right to man that leads to death, but there's a way that seems right to God and leads to life, right? So this is the moment where I'm committing that I'm just going to put God first. I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to do things like how Joshua did. And whatever your goal is, maybe it's a Jericho in your life. Maybe it seems an impossibility. Maybe your goal seems so far to reach. Maybe it seems like your family situation is so far to reach. What is it that you want a miracle in? Because I believe when we do something like this, miracles will happen. Because anything God does is a miracle, right? Anything I do is not that amazing. So my goal is to be able to see and really be able to have a bunch of miracles start to happen. And if that interests you to join me in that, I'd love for you to join me. Once again, comment breakthrough, join the Telegram channel. You'll be seeing me as I go through this as well too. And I hope this empowers you. If it did, join that group, like this, share this, subscribe to this channel as well. I'm going to be giving a lot of content in the next 21 days starting November 28th. And if you have anyone you feel can benefit from something like this, tag them on this, share this with them as well too. I'd love to have them in this as well. I believe we're better together. I believe there's so much more power when there's numbers, and I think it's going to be so much more fun. And I can't wait for the next 21 days to prove, honestly, how powerful God is. I know I'm very limited, but I know that He's unlimited. All right. So I hope this blesses you. I hope this is a great message after Thanksgiving. If it is, hey, I can't wait to talk with you all soon. All right. Thanks for chiming in. We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.